Hello everyone and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah share. We're holding Mishnah Berurah Chelik Gimel, and Mi'as Hashem today we will be learning Daf Yud Zayin Amud Beis. We are continuing to learn Erev Shabbos, and we find ourselves in middle of Siman Reish Nun Beis Sif Aleph. We're going to be beginning today with the very last word in the Shulchan Aruch Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, the word umuter. Our learning today should be a schus for Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael Hanesunim Batzara Ubashivya Ha'imdim Bein Bayam Ubein Bayabasha Hamakayim Yerachem Aleihem V'Yitziim Mitzara L'Rvacha Me'afela La'ira Umishibud L'Geula Hashta Bagala Uvizman Kariv V'Naimar Amen. So here in Siman Reish Nun Beis, we have been discussing a very interesting concept. The Mechaber told us in Sif Aleph so far that it is mutter for Yisrael to start the ball rolling on a malacha on Erev Shabbos, even though the malacha is going to happen and be completed on Shabbos. And the Mechaber gave us several examples. So, for example, the Mechaber said, you're allowed to soak the dry ingredients to make ink or to make dye. You're allowed to put them in to soak on Erev Shabbos. Now, if you are to do this on Shabbos, if you are to mix the liquid with the dry ingredients on Shabbos, like the Mishnah Berurah told us, this would be the Issa Daraisa of Megabel. This would be like lush, because what you're doing is you're taking dry ingredients, you're adding a binding agent of a liquid. The liquid is going to mix, it's going to combine together with the dry ingredients, and it's going to form a mass. That's Megabel. So by you putting the dry ingredients and the liquid together on Erev Shabbos, you are putting this malacha into play. You're starting the ball rolling. When Shabbos comes, there's not enough time on Erev Shabbos for it to really happen. On Shabbos, it's going to combine, it's going to become megabel. So you started the ball rolling. You put it into play on Erev Shabbos. Said the Mechaber, that's mutter. And in the words of the Mishnah Berurah said, Kevet shamaschil be'erev Shabbos, since you started this on Erev Shabbos, it's okay. If you start the malacha on Erev Shabbos, it's okay. If the malacha goes ahead and happens memela, the malacha is going to take place without your active participation on Shabbos, the Mechaber said that that's okay. The Mechaber gave us another case. The Mechaber said you could take bundles of flax and you could put them into an oven so that they should become bleached. They should become whitened on Shabbos. Now, when you put it into the oven on Erev Shabbos, they're not instantly turning white. You put it in, it's going to take time. Whitening the flax is the malacha daraisa of malabein, of whitening something. It's going to happen on Shabbos. You're putting it into play on Erev Shabbos. You started it on Erev Shabbos. It's going to happen memela without your active participation on Shabbos. The Mechaber said, that's okay. Another example, right before we were beginning today, the Mechaber said, you could set traps. You want to set a trap to catch a deer. You want to set a trap to catch a bird. You want to set traps to catch fish. You could put the traps out on Erev Shabbos. You put out the traps. If animals are going to become trapped, which is the malach of tzad, if animals are going to become trapped on Shabbos, that's okay. You did it on Erev Shabbos. The malach is going to happen memela on Shabbos. That's okay. It's happening without your active participation. That's okay. Now, what we see, what we've been discussing until now, what we see here is that when you do a maisa on Erev Shabbos, and you start the ball for that malacha rolling, and the malacha happens on Shabbos, the malacha that happens on Shabbos is not miyuchis to you. We don't look at it that you performed a malacha on Shabbos. You didn't. You put something into play on Erev Shabbos. The malacha happened memela on Shabbos. It happened on its own on Shabbos. It's not miyuchis to you. Now, in that vein, the Mechaber now tells us another halacha. Now, what's interesting over here is that this case is really a little bit different than the other ones, but conceptually, it seems that the Mechaber is considering it the same. Says the Mechaber, Umuter limkar le'ena Yehudi, you're allowed to sell something to an Eina Yehudi on Erev Shabbos, ulahatinoi, and you could take the item that you sold to him, and you could load it on his back. You could help him carry it. You sold him a piece of furniture, you sold him a nightstand, and he wants to take it out of your house. You sold it to him right before Shabbos. You could make the sale right before Shabbos. You could pick up the night table, and you could help him put it on his back so that he could carry it. And you could do this samach lechashecha. You could do this right before the Zman of Shabbos. You could do this right before Shkia. Now, what's happening over here? Well, what's happening over here is you're making a sale. You're giving him the item. If you're loading actually the item on him, you're giving him the item. Now, what's he going to do with the item? He's going to carry the item out of your house. He's also going to carry it in Rishos HaRabim. He also might take it out of the Tchum. Now, if the malacha that he's going to do was meyuchas to you, if by loading it on him, now when he takes it out, it's meyuchas to you, well, that would be Amir Lakum. That would be, he's doing it b'shlichus. I'm making him a shliach to go do that. Says the Mechaber, this is not a problem. Mutter limkar le'ena Yehudi latina samach lechashecha. You can make a sale of a movable item to an Eina Yehudi right before Shabbos. You could even load it on his back. Or like the Bir Halacha says, you could load it on his animal right before Shabbos. Ubelvad sheyetze mi pesach beisoy mi ba'odyon. With the caveat that he has to actually leave your premises. He has to leave your property before Shabbos. But the fact that he's going to go do a malacha of hoitzah, the fact that he's going to carry in Rishos HaRabim, the fact that he may take it out of the Tchum, that's not miyuchas to you. You sold him an item. The item is now his. When he takes the item and he carries it in Rishos HaRabim, when he takes the item and he takes it out of the Tchum, even the fact that he's going to take the item and he's going to carry it from your house, from the Rishos HaYachid, and carry it to the Rishos HaRabim, now you're selling it to him before Chashecha. And we're saying he has to get it out of your house before the Zman of Shabbos. But in reality, whatever he's doing with his own item. He's not doing it as a shliach of you. If you sold him a table before Shabbos, he's carrying the table out of your house because he just bought a table from you and he wants to take it home. And he wants to eat supper by the table. He's not doing it your shlichus. He's not, Ruvain made me a shliach to take the table out of his house. No, I bought a table from him, so I'm taking it out of his house. So this is why the Mechaber says, you could go ahead and you could sell it to him right before Shkia. No problem. The fact that he's going to do malacha, the fact that he's going to do haitzah, he's doing it with his own item. It's not meyuchas to you at all. The caveat is that he does have to leave your premises before Shabbos. But why does he have to leave your premises before Shabbos? It's not that he has to leave your premises before Shabbos because if he doesn't, he's your shliach and it's Amir al-Akum. No, like we're going to see in the Mishnah Berurah, the reason he has to leave your premises before Shabbos is because of like a marasayin. He has to leave your premises before Shabbos because if he doesn't, if he leaves your premises on Shabbos, people are going to think that you made a sale on Shabbos. People are going to think that you did business on Shabbos. That's the problem. It's a marasayin problem. But the malacha is not miyuchis to you. And I believe that's why the Mechaber puts this halacha over here in Siman Reishtun Beis. This is a little bit different than all the other cases that the Mechaber gave us. Again, the first case that the Mechaber gave us of soaking the ingredients for the diyoi or for the samamonim, soaking the ingredients for the dye, over there it's a little bit different. Over there, if you would do that on Shabbos, it would be an Issa Daraisa. It would be the Isser of Megabel. It would be lush to do it on Shabbos. Says the Mechaber, you're allowed to start it on Erev Shabbos, even though the Malach is going to happen on Shabbos. Again, why? Because since it happens Memela on Shabbos without your active participation, the Malach is not miyuchas to you. We don't say that you did Malacha on Shabbos. Over here, you're selling an item to an Eina Yehudi right before Shabbos. What's the malacha over here? The malacha that's going to happen is the malacha that the Eina Yehudi is going to do on Shabbos. The malacha that the Eina Yehudi is going to do on Shabbos is b'chlal not miyuchas to you. Over here, it's not so much that you're starting the ball rolling on a malacha. You're not starting by the diyoi. You're putting into motion a malacha that's going to happen as a result of the Maisa that you did on Erev Shabbos. The Chiddush is, even though you started the ball rolling on Erev Shabbos and the Malacha is going to happen on Shabbos, the result of your actions on Erev Shabbos, we don't look at it that you did a malacha on Shabbos. We're not miyaches the malacha that's happening on Shabbos to you on Shabbos, even though you started the ball rolling on Erev Shabbos. Over here, the reason the malacha is not miyuches to you is because you're not doing the malacha at all. Over here, the Ein Yehudi is doing the malacha. It's not Amir Lakum. It's not Amir Lakum. Why is it not Amir Lakum? Because he's carrying his own table. There's nothing to do with me. If you would do it on Shabbos, if you didn't leave your house on Shabbos, it would be a problem of Marasayin. So a little bit different, but the concepts are very similar. Let's take a look here in the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, turning back to Yud Ches Amid. Whoops, wrong page. What happened over here? Yeah, turning back to Yud Zayin Amid Aleph. No, I'm sorry. The Mishnah Berurah is Ches on Yud Zayin Amid Beis. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Bavad Sheyetze. The caveat over here is that the Nachri, the Ein Yehudi, must leave your house before Shabbos. What the Mishnah Berurah wants to say, very clear, the Chavetz Chaim wants to make it very clear to us. If there would not be enough time for the Ein Yehudi to leave your premises before Shabbos, or if the Ein Yehudi would make it tonight, and he would say, I'm buying the item now on Erev Shabbos, but I am coming back later tonight with the truck, and I'm taking it out of your house on Shabbos, af ha-mechira aser. Then the mechira would taka be aser. And it sounds to me, it looks to me from what I've seen so far over here, you know what, the truth is, why am I speaking with improper preparation? That would be an avil of mine. Let's just check very, 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 very quickly. Looks to me, if I'm remembering correctly, so I believe over here, the sale would actually be usher. Bear with me, please. Okay, I believe I'm right. I might have to double check and report back to you, but I believe that I'm right. The reason why it's usher over here, the reason why the Mishnah Berurah is saying that the actual mechira is usher, if there's no time. If there's no time for him to get it out of your house before Shabbos, or if he says straight out, I'm coming with a truck and I'm taking it out of your house on Shabbos, now it's like you made a mishliach. Even though it's his own object, but you made the mechira with the understanding that he's removing it from your premises on Shabbos. You made the mechira with the understanding that he's going to do the malach of haitzah, that he's going to take it from your Rishus HaYachid and take it out to Rishus HaRabim on Shabbos. Then you made a mishliach to do it. That's already Amir La'akum, and that would be usher. The mechira, the very mechira, would be usher in that case. Ice cut and test with a he has to remove it from your premises while it's still day. Why? Because if he doesn't get it out of your house before Shabbos, then it looks like you made a mishliach to take it out and to do a haitzah. There's another reason why this is usher. Another problem over here is, if the Ein Yehudi is going to take the chayfetz out of your house on Shabbos, then it looks like you did business on Shabbos. It looks like you had something listed on Craigslist, and somebody came to your house on Shabbos, and you made a sale on Shabbos. Or maybe you had a loan outstanding to this Ein Yehudi, and he came to collect the loan, and you didn't have payment for him, so you gave him a mashkoin. You gave him a mashkoin on Shabbos. Again, you're doing a business transaction on Shabbos. So again, the Mechaber is telling you, you can make the sale before Shabbos, so long as there's enough time for the Ein Yehudi to get the chayfetz out of your premises before Shabbos. But to make a sale without there being enough time, that would be usher. And the actual mechira would be usher. The mechira of that would be usher. And again, the Eini Yehudi can't take it out of your house on Shabbos because of this Maris Ayin issue. Now, the Mishnah Berurah points out over here, now that we gave you over here two reasons why he has to take it off your premises before Shabbos. One was, it shouldn't look like you made him a shliach. It shouldn't look like you're doing business on Shabbos. Ulatam zeh, according to this second reason, that it shouldn't look like you were doing business on Shabbos, asar afilu be'ir hamukefes chayma aymakim sheyesh erev. For the first reason, the first problem was, when he's doing haitzah, when he's taking it out of your house to the Rosh Hashanah, it's going to look like you did Amir La'akum. It's going to look like you brought in a guy, and you were mitzvah the guy, take this table out of my house on Shabbos, which would be Amir La'akum to do the malacha of haitzah. But what if there is no malacha of haitzah? What if you live in a city that's surrounded by a wall? What if you live in a city where there's an Erev? So there is no Isser of Haitzah. Now, could I have the Eini Yehudi take it off my premises on Shabbos? Says the Mishnah Berurah, no, because there's another problem. The Maris Ayin, that it's going to look like you're doing business on Shabbos. V'chein hiskimu ha'achrayim, the Achrayim reach a consensus. When it comes to Bechira, when it comes to selling an item and having the Eini Yehudi take it off your premises, or you're renting an item to an Eini Yehudi and you want him to remove it from your premises, you should be machmir that he has to get it out of your house before Shabbos, even if you live in a city surrounded by a wall, so there is no problem of Haitzah. Yehudi Darsham, and the Eini Yehudi lives in the city, so you don't have to worry that he's taking it out of the Tchum. You still should be machmir that he gets it off your premises before Shabbos, so it should not look like you're conducting business on Shabbos. Hagah, going back to the Shulchan Aruch, end of the top line. Hagah says the Ramah, V'yesh matirin, there are those that are matir, a very interesting heter. V'yesh matirin sheyotzia Eini Yehudi b'Shabbos, there are those that are matir, to allow the Eini Yehudi to remove the chayfetz from your premises on Shabbos, im yiched loy ha'Eini Yehudi makayim miba'od yom b'veis Yisrael. So again, you went ahead and you sold a table to an Eini Yehudi on Erev Shabbos. The Eini Yehudi says, I got to go home, I got to get my pickup truck, I'm going to come back with my pickup truck, I'll pick it up later tonight. So he wants to pick it up on Shabbos. The Mechaber said, can't do that. He has to be able to get it off your property before Shabbos. If he can't get it off your property before Shabbos, you can't make the loan. You can't make the sale. I'm sorry. Says the Ramah, there are those that are matir making the sale and allowing the Eini Yehudi to take it off your premises on Shabbos under the following condition. He has to be miyached a place. You have to speak out. The Eini Yehudi tells you, you know what? Take the table and put the table in your garage. The table's going to be in the garage, and I'm going to pick it up later. You put it in the garage, I'm going to pick it up from your garage later. So the Eini Yehudi was miyached a place. He specified, and you agreed, where the table should go in your house until he picks it up. Now, the Mishnah Berurah says, what's the svar over here? Why are these matirim matir this? What does that help? Says the Mishnah Berurah, Yodim Yiched, svarasam, the svar of these matirim is the heavy kilu kfar munach bebeisai shel Eini Yehudi. If the Eini Yehudi is miyached a place and you agree that the table is going to be in your garage until he picks it up, it's like it's already in the Eini Yehudi's place. The garage now has become the Eini Yehudi's domain. My table is there until I pick it up. So it's as if he picked it up already. Now, the Ramah says right away, going back to the second line of the Shulchan Aruch near the end, says the Ramah v'yesh l'hachmir. He brings down from the Mordechai that we should be machmir, v'ayin l'kamon Siman Shun Chaf Hey, and he tells us to take a look later in Siman Shin Chaf Hey Sif Aleph, says the Mishnah Berurah Yadal v'yesh l'hachmir. Mishnah Berurah says an interesting thing. You should be machmir, k'dei shelo lahargil ha'Eini Yehudi b'kach. So that the Eini Yehudi should not be accustomed to doing this kind of thing, where this Eini Yehudi is going to decide that it's okay to be doing business with Yidden and picking up things from their houses on Shabbos. We don't want this happening. V'ayin ba'achronim, he says, take a look at the achronim she'eskimu, who agree to be dina ein lahakil pozeh, that al pi din we should not follow this kula. The karmelam b'simin tov mem gam gabi chometz to loy mahani b'yichid loy makom. By chometz, we have a similar halacha. What happens if a Yehudi has chometz that belongs to an ein Yehudi in his house on Pesach? It's a Pal Yerah problem. You don't want to have the chametz in your house. But what if you're miyachid makom to the Ein Yehudi? You tell the Ein Yehudi the chametz is going to be over here. So, okay, there's obviously people sell their chametz to an Ein Yehudi. They have it in the house. That's a discussion for Hilchos Pesach. But over here, the point that we need is, there are those that say in Sibit Tov Bem, Gam Gabi Chametz, Deloy Mahani B'yichid Loy Makom. If you just miyachid a makom, and you say it's in the garage, and the place in the garage now belongs to the Ein Yehudi, that doesn't work. Gam deharoya savish Yisrael tzivo by chametz we say the loy mahani b'yichad loy makom, and the underpinnings of this is that schirus einay kaina. When you're just because you miyachad a makom to the Ein Yehudi, it doesn't mean that it's already in the Ein Yehudi's house. Not by chametz, and not by the table that the Ein Yehudi purchased from you on Erev Shabbos. Just because you were miyachid makom that it should stay in the garage until he picks it up, that doesn't make that it's in his house. Gam, furthermore, says the Mishnah Berurah, we still have our original problem. The haroyeh, somebody who sees the Ein Yehudi come with the pickup truck to pick up the table Friday night after the Zman, Savar Yisrael Tzivo L'Haitziyah, is going to think that he's coming to pick up the table and do the malach of Haitzah to take it out of the Yid's house as his shliach. Al-Kain ein lahakal bazeh, and therefore the Mishnah Berurah says we should not be makel el b'makom hefsid v'tzarech gadol. V'em ein Yehudi alam, or if the Ein Yehudi's a tough guy and you can't stand up to him, then yesh lahater afilu below yichid loy makom. Then we could be matter even if he wasn't miyachid a makom for the table. If he's a gvar olam, the Ein Yehudi, we could let him pick it up on Shabbos. The bekai gavdolei gazer chachamim. The chachamim didn't make this gzera when they're dealing with a nachri, a gvar olam. Kasav elas tamid nirid im hiskar sacheder le'Ein Yehudi bepruta al meshach yom Shabbos. The elas tamid takes the heter of the Ramah and takes it to a next step. He says, how about if you mamish, you weren't miyakid makom. You didn't just say that the table is going to be in the garage until you pick it up. No, you have, let's say, a shed. And you said, you know what, I'm renting you the shed. Give me $5, I'm renting you the shed until you pick up the table. Says Derlis Tamid, Nired im hisker sacheder le'Ein Yehudi bepruta al meshach yom Shabbos. If you rent out a room to the Ein Yehudi for the duration of Shabbos, and you put his chayvetz in that room, ein lahachmer klal ayin sham, then there's no room for a chumrah. Aval amagnav ram ushari achreim kasvu da'afilu b'schiras sacheder ein lisvach lahakel because schiras ain't a kaina. Okay, now we go to Sif Beis. Sif Beis is what Reish Nun Beis Sif Beis is one of these simanim, one of these seifim, Siman and Sif, that we've referenced over and over and over again, and it comes up a lot whenever we're discussing Amir La'akum and such matters. Now, before we see Sif Beis inside, I think we just need to chazer iber one basic concept that we saw when we were working through the sugya of Amir La'akum, and that's the difference between schirus and kablonos. The difference between hiring and paying an employee to work for you by time, where you pay an employee $25 an hour to do work, and for every hour that he works, he gets paid. Whether he completes the job or he doesn't complete the job, he's a per diem employee or per hour employee. So that's schirus. He's an employee. And then there's kablonos. Kablonos is where you pay somebody for the job. You're outsourcing a job. Fix my dining room table. Here's my dining room table. Take my dining room table. When my dining room table is repaired, bring it back to me. I'm paying you $250 for the job. Schirus is aser on Shabbos. You're not allowed to have an employee work for you on Shabbos. Kablonos, with certain conditions, kablonos is mutter on Shabbos. So if you're paying a carpenter $25 an hour to repair your Shabbos table, you can't give him your dining room table. You can't hire him on Erev Shabbos if he's not going to have enough time to finish the job on Erev Shabbos. You can't hire him on Erev Shabbos 10 minutes before Shkia, give him the table, and tell you, I'll pay you $25 an hour, fix my dining room table. You can't do that. Because if he works on Shabbos, he's working for you. But a kablan, if you tell a carpenter, I'm going to give you my table, $250 to repair the table, give it back to me when it's done, then you could give it to him even 10 minutes before Shkia. Even though he doesn't have enough time to do it before Shabbos, it's okay. What's the difference between the two? So very succinctly, the difference between the two is as follows. When you hire an employee and you pay him for his time, we look at it and we say that when the employee is working, you are paying him for his work. He's doing his work as your shliach. So this is Aser Amir La'akum 101. By the virtue of the fact that you're paying this employee and you're paying him for his time that he's working for you, you're making him a shliach to do that work. If he does the work on Shabbos, he's doing the work for you. That's Amir La'akum. That's Aser. By a kablan, we don't look at it that way. By kablanus, you're paying $250 for the job. Here's my dining room table. Give me back a repaired dining room table. You know what? You're not paying him for his work. You're not paying him for his work. You're paying him to deliver a repaired dining room table. The work is his issue. I outsourced it to you. I don't want to know about the work. The work has nothing to do with me. You're not doing my work. You're doing your work. Why are you doing your work? Because you're going to make $250 on the deal. But you're a kablan. I'm paying you for the finished job. And if you decide to work on Shabbos, the reason you're working on Shabbos is because you want to get paid faster. You want to get your $250 faster. You know you're not going to get paid until you deliver the work. So you want to deliver it faster. You want to complete it faster, and you want to get paid. By the employee, you might be tempted to make an argument, and you might want to say, well, the employee is also a why is he working? He's working because he's getting a paycheck. By an employee, we don't look at it that way, because by an employee, you're paying him for his work. You're not paying him for the completed job. You're paying him for the work. He's doing your work in order to get a paycheck. But he's doing your work. He's not doing his work. And now we're going to dive back into this issue very temporarily. We're going to dive back into this question, the difference between schirus and kablanus. And like I said, this is a sif that we've already referenced many times. Says the Mechaber 2 lines off the bottom in the middle of the line. Umutter litain begadav lekoives einoi Yehudi. You're allowed to give your clothing to an Eino Yehudi launderer or to the dry cleaner. You could give your clothing to the launderer or the dry cleaner. Va'oros la'abdon, or you could take hides and you could give them to the tanner. Pirish ha'uman shema'amin u'masakina oros. The abdon is the tanner, the one who works and tans the hides. Samach l'chashecha. You could give it to him 10 minutes before Shkia. Now, you give your suit to the dry cleaner 10 minutes before Shkia. He doesn't have time to do it before Shabbos. You give the hides to the tanner 10 minutes before Shabbos. He doesn't have time to do it before Shabbos. But you're allowed to do it anyway. Im katatz loidamim, if he's a kablan. If you set a price for the job. If you set a price for the job, you could give it to him right before Shabbos. Why? Because he's a kablan. He's a kablan. He's doing his work. He's not doing your work. He accepted your hides. He accepted your suit. He accepted to deliver the finished item, to deliver the clean suit or the laundered clothing or the tanned hides for $250 or for the schum, whatever amount you made up. Now he accepted that for his work. He's going to do his work now, not your work. And if he works on Shabbos, the reason he's cleaning the suit on Shabbos is because he wants to get paid. And he knows that the sooner he delivers, the sooner he gets paid. That's why he's doing it. So it says the Mechaber, this is mutter im katzatz loidamim, if you set a price, or you didn't set a price, but he's doing it because he owes you a favor. So again, he wants to do it in repayment of a favor. That's like katzatz loidamim. He's doing it for that. For who? But one very important caveat over here is even by kablanus, you can't be kaveh malachta l'Shabbos. You can't tell the dry cleaner, I want you to clean it on Shabbos. You can't tell the tanner, I want you to do the work on Shabbos, because then you are making him a shliach to do it on Shabbos. Then he's working on Shabbos for you. That would be Amir Lakum. He can't do. V'gam sheyasa Eini Yehudi hamalacha bebeisai. And also the Eini Yehudi has to do the malacha by him. He has to do it in his workshop. He has to do it in his house. He can't do it by you. If he does it by you, again, he's working for you. Says the Mishnah Berurah, is cutting your base. Litain begadav, you could give your clothing to the launderer or to the dry cleaner. The same thing applies to any other malacha. You could give your car to the auto mechanic on Erev Shabbos 10 minutes before Shkia. That's kablanas. You're giving it to him. You pay him for the completed job. You don't pay him for the hour. I'm paying you for every hour that you work on my car. Now, the truth is, his billing might take into consideration an hourly rate of what he pays his employees, etc., etc. But you're not paying for that. You are paying a set fee to get my car back repaired. V'atam. The reason this is mutter is, says the Mishnah Berurah, because since you set a price for his work, and there's no pada over here that he has to do the work right away and he has to work on Shabbos. If he works on Shabbos, it's nachri adaita denafshei kavid lemaher lahashlam malachtoi. He's working now on Shabbos because he knows the sooner he delivers the finished job, the sooner he gets paid. That's why he's working on Shabbos. Ayis cut Yud Gimel, you could give out this work samach lechashecha ubeinon sheyotziam ganke mi bezach beisay min ba'oyon. Again, the Eini Yehudi has to take the chayfetz out of your house before Shabbos. So if you call the carpenter to repair your dining room table and you make up $250 to repair the dining room table, yes, you could give him the work right before Shabbos. And if he works on Shabbos, but he can't come pick it up Friday night after the Suda. He has to come before Shabbos and pick it up. Why? Because if he picks it up on Shabbos, it looks like you're making an Eini Yehudi a shliach to carry something out of your house on Shabbos. Or it looks like you're doing business on Shabbos, and that would be awesome. Always cutting your dalid im kotzatz. This is mutter as long as you set a price. Hainu sach yedua. You make up a known value. You make up $250. V'lo yischir yoim, but you're not paying him per diem. It's not, I'll pay you $250 for the day. That would be awesome, because then he's working for you for the day. That's a mir lakum. But if it's, you're getting paid to fix the dining room table, I don't care when you do it, fixing the dining room table is his work. It's not your work. V'ayin Siman Reish Bem Zayin Sif Beis, where we discussed this in great detail. Let's say you didn't set $250. You said, listen, you're a carpenter, fix my dining room table, I'll pay you. I'll pay you for the job, whatever the rate is. But you didn't express the dollar value. That is like kotzatz. Says the Chavetz Chaim already in his time, when you gave clothing to the launderer, that's called ketzitza. That's called that you set a price for the job, even if you don't mention the number. The kitzvasa yadua, everybody knows it's 11 cents a pound, or 15 cents a pound, or 20 cents a pound. I don't know what it is nowadays. So the Chavetz Chaim said already in his time, it's a pashut that you could give out clothing to the launderer right before Shabbos, because that's kablanas. Ois cotton tesvav. The Mechaber said you could do this also if the guy is doing it b'tayvas hana. Hainu shenisratza Eini Yehudi lasis lebechinam. If the Eini Yehudi says he wants to do it for you for nothing, we assume it's because he recognizes that you have done favors for him, and now he's returning the favor. He's doing it to pay back for something you did for him. Ois cotton tezayin. But like the Mechaber said, v'hu shelo yomer lo lasis b'Shabbos. Certainly you can't tell the Eini Yehudi that you want him to do the work on Shabbos. You want him to clean the clothes on Shabbos. You can't do that. You can't tell him, I want you to tan the hides on Shabbos, because then you are making him a shliach to do it on Shabbos. Or similarly, let's say you would tell the launderer, I'm hiring you b'kablonis to clean these 20 pounds of laundry, but I must have it back on Motzi Shabbos. Can't do that. I'm catching the Motzi Shabbos flight to Eretz Yisrael. I got to leave to the airport half an hour after Shabbos. You can't do that. That would be also even by kablonis, because that means that you are telling the Eini Yehudi to work on Shabbos. Because since the Eini Yehudi will not possibly be able to finish the task unless he works on Shabbos, so ipso facto, that means that you told him to work on Shabbos. Another caveat is that the Ein Yehudi has to do the work by him. He can't do the work by you. He has to do the work outside of your house. Because if he would do it in your house, if he's doing work in your front yard, if he's fixing the table in your front yard, or he's fixing the table in your house, then it looks like he's working for you. So let's say you have one of these guys who comes to your house to do a brake job or to do an oil change. Everybody knows that car work is done by kablonos. It's $35 for an oil change, right? Everybody knows it's done by kablonos, but he can't do it in your driveway because then it mamish looks like he's working for you. Even though people aren't going to be choishish that he's an employee, they know it's by kablonos, you still can't do it. Gam can also be tamzeh the yermu shetzivo lasis b'Shabbos because it looks like you told him to work on Shabbos. So far what we've seen over here in Sif Beis is just this concept. You're allowed to give out work b'kablonos on Erev Shabbos as long as you set the price, which is really a chazara of what we've seen before. So you want to give work to an Ein Yehudi, you could give work to an Ein Yehudi even 10 minutes before Shabbos. If you set a price for the job so that it's a proper kablonos, or it's clear that he's doing it b'tovas hana, it's clear that he's doing it because he owes you a favor, that's why he's doing it. He's doing his work. Now, just food for thought, because we're going to need this in the next cheer. Another ingredient of the heter of kablonos is that by kablonos, the kablan, the Ein Yehudi, is accepting the work as his own work. I always use that term, you're outsourcing the job. I always like to make that analogy. It's the difference between a company hiring in-house employees to do work or outsourcing a piece of work to an outside company. When a company hires employees to do work, they're hiring employees and paying them for their time to do their work. When they outsource a piece of work to an outside vendor, they're no longer connected to the work. I'm outsourcing it to an outside vendor, and I'm paying the outside vendor a set amount of money to receive a completed bit of work. When they work, they're doing their work. They're not doing my work. They're going to deliver a finished thing to me. That's what we're seeing over here. You give clothing to the launderer. You're not hiring a launderer and paying a launderer by time to wash your clothes. No, I'm outsourcing my laundry. I don't want to deal with my laundry. It's after the 9 days, and I don't want to go into the girl and sit by the washing machine and everything else. I'm outsourcing my laundry. Here's my laundry. Call me when it's finished. Come back, deliver it when it's finished. When she's in the laundromat doing the work, she's not doing my work. She's doing her work. Her job is to do laundry and get paid for the delivering the finished item. That's what we see here. But a key ingredient also is that the kablan has to be accepting the work as his own work. And in order for that to happen, the kablan has to be batuach that he's going to get paid. The kablan has to be certain and comfortable in the knowledge that he's going to get paid. If he's comfortable in the knowledge that he's going to get paid, he's willing to make that acceptance. He's willing to accept the work as his own work. If he's not batuach, if he's not confident in the pay that he's going to receive, he might do the work anyway. But now he's doing the work for you. You can't say he's doing the work for himself. You can't say Nochri Adaita Denavshei Kavad, because he doesn't have the confidence that he's going to get paid. He doesn't have enough confidence to accept it as his own work. So why is he doing it? He's doing it for you in the hope of getting paid. But that's tomorrow's share. I just wanted to put that in your head already now. Thank you for joining me for Limud HaTorah. The source of Limud HaTorah should be hanging against Klal Yisrael. The Rebbeinu Shalom should send Yeshua Sephorus, but also Shaduchim to all those in need. We should be zeicher to see the B'ez Kal Tzedek B'meher V'Yameinu. Amen. Be well.